everybody. This is Joshua Hatton with One Nation Under Whiskey Podcast. I am joined today, and as always, by my good partner, my friend, my business guy, the dear Mr.
It's been a long year, Joshua.
It has been a long year. It's December, Jason. Did you realize it's December?
I did. On December 1st, when I woke up, I realized it was December. Like, here we are. Mm-hmm. We're amongst it.
We're amongst it. Do you say when you wake up on the first of any month? Do you say rabbit rabbit?
I don't. I'm not a superstitious fellow.
I don't do it out of superstition. I just do it out of habit.
You understand it is a superstition.
Like I get that it comes from like its origins are from superstition. But I don't think that, like, demons are going to enter me if I don't say rabbit, rabbit. Like, I just do it because, I don't know, it's just fun to say. So, rabbit, rabbit.
I tell you, the first month you don't say it, let's get back to where those demons are at.
We've all seen The Exorcist. I bet you that's how it all happened.
If she had just said rabbit, rabbit, there'd be no movie.
There'd be no movie. That's it. But at least we'd have a bucket of popcorn. Right?
But then Who Framed Roger Rabbit Rabbit would be a very different movie.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit Rabbit?
That's what I just said.
Did you say Roger Rabbit Rabbit?
Yes, that was the
Oh, shit, I didn't hear the second rabbit come out your mouth. I just heard Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I didn't hear the rabbit rabbit.
There's no joke if you say Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Who framed Jessica Rabbit Guillermo Lomas? That's what I want to know.
Oh, this is a winning intro today. We are on fire. And by we... Wow.
I stepped on your joke. You said the joke, and I stepped on it. And, oh, man, I apologize, Jason.
Thank you. I appreciate your apology.
Thank you. Thank you. Will you appreciate it? Do you accept it? I didn't hear that you accepted it.
I just hope it makes it to the final edit.
Oh, well... Here we are. And
I still haven't accepted it.
I know. By the end of this episode, you will hopefully have accepted
I'm just sitting watching you slow walking this episode. Like, he hasn't said it yet. He hasn't
said it.
If I walk this a little slower, he's going to accept my apology.
I tell you, with enough whiskey in you, perhaps you will have accepted my apology. I'm just going to ply you with whiskey, some of the best whiskey, I would argue. People say it's the best.
I would accept that argument.
I am really excited for this conversation.
Same.
We have been sitting on, I mean, not literally.
You always say that. You always say sitting on.
What do we do then? What do we do if do we not sit on things?
I don't know what that means. Like, we've been waiting to release. We've been holding for launch.
Holding for launch, but I feel as if, like, with this particular launch, this is something that we've kind of hidden. We've not really teased it all. Like, normally when we're talking about a release, we kind of tease, we kind of say, hey, something's going to be happening. But with this, we've kept really stum about what we're...
Whispers.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't even whispered. Like, we haven't even said anything. Like, with this one, we've not said a goddamn thing.
Not entirely true. We greatly enjoyed our evening, if you remember the Zoom tasting, with the High Rollers. The High Rollers Zoom was tons of fun, going into the online shop and pulling out, what did we pour? Things like Incomplete Joshua Hatton List Coming. Ardmore got poured. I think the Foursquare got poured. There was another one.
The Girvan.
The Girvan got poured.
And the Glengarry 21-year-old.
Oh, look at that, right?
Got poured.
Just so
and the Tullabarden.
I know you're surprised, right?
For good fun.
You're surprised with the Tullabarden.
Yeah.
But in that Zoom tasting, that was the one place we whispered about something later in the year that would fit the group. And here we are today, launching, getting out of a seated position upon.
Because if we sat on this, it would be very painful.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Doesn't work.
So shall we do the big reveal?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So this is the final online exclusive of this year.
Indeed.
Normally, we do not release any whiskeys in December.
We try not to.
Mostly because our previous retail partners haven't been able to ship in December. It's really difficult to do that. But, along with our new website came new shipping partners who have a bit more people power that allow us to ship. And so we can actually ship up until December 16 if you want your bottles by Christmas time, if that is your holiday of choice there. So we said, you know what? Let's have something really fancy schmancy, a bit of a callback to the Woodcut series.
Very much
I would
so.
argue, right?
A very well supported woodcut series, I hasten to add.
There you go. And
we had fun with that little project.
What we have is you have them right there. Look at that, Jason.
They always live over my shoulder in every meeting I have. Although the bottles are getting progressively lower. Anywho.
And so what we have is oh my gosh, the listeners are not going to love this, but the viewers are going to enjoy what I'm about to show them.
Well, the good news is we will use our words as well as our eyes, but that really is singing in that new label. This Laphroaig 25-year-old distilled July of 1999. I was but a boy preparing to return to the University of Aberdeen for, my final year.
Look at that.
I graduated the following summer. So, yeah. This was the summer when Petty and I were going back to head up the University of Aberdeen Whisky Society, the very same society where I discovered Laphroaig 10. And that wasn't even Cask Strength. That was straight up Laphroaig 10.
Just the 10. Okay.
Discovered that probably around about November, December of 1996. So...
Oh, wow. Okay,
yeah.
So this is like bringing it on home for you.
Yeah, this is lovely. This was... this was the Laphroaig of my decade. This was 96 and 99. Gosh, those are lovely, lovely numbers to see.
Yeah, I loved your story where you said, you first get introduced with, was it Glenfiddich or was it Glenlivet? Glenfiddich, right? And then you had a Highland Park. And then the Laphroaig. And it was like, okay, that's where it's at. This is the rabbit hole. This is the hole I am going down.
Some might say the rabbit hole. I said that one a bit louder for you.
Some might say the rabbit hole, Jason.
Well played. Anyway. And so, yes. So this is 99, right? So what do we have? Right? We're thinking about the 96 10-year-old that I'm having, as a student at the University of Aberdeen. We're thinking about that coming out of 86, that kind of window. I think about you and me being at the Alden Rare in Glasgow a few years ago and getting to sit in on a Laphroaig Decades tasting with Dennis Nicol.
Yeah. Yep.
And Dennis Nicol, if anybody doesn't know, was the distillery manager at Laphroaig between 1976 and 1980.
Yeah. Yep.
And in that tasting, Dennis talked about the transition at Laphroaig from brewer's yeast to distiller's yeast. Mm-hmm. And, talked to enough whiskey nerds you'll eventually get into that conversation around brewer's yeast and distiller's yeast. Famously, brewer's yeast would give an incomplete fermentation, but would have some really interesting flavors, some depth of flavor, some heft to those flavors. Distiller's yeast, a much more efficient fermentation. You would get greater volumes of alcohol produced from your distiller's yeast. And in eras where we started talking about yield, distiller's yeast really has come to the fore. And so to listen to Dennis talk about that slow-moving transition, it wasn't just overnight, if I'm remembering that correctly, Joshua, and we're going off memories from a few years ago, but it wasn't just overnight. They didn't just say one day we're brewers, the next day we're distillers yeast.
Correct.
It was a transition.
Yeah. I remember him saying that part of that transition was brewer's yeast, and then a marriage of both brewer's yeast and distiller's yeast, and then to distiller's yeast, which I think was a pretty smart way of doing that, because you don't want to just do it, a whole cloth, because that will instantly change your flavor profile.
Right.
You want to ease people's palate into this newer style, get them used to it, not just people who are drinking Laphroaig, but people who are using Laphroaig for their blends, or if you have your own proprietary blend, right?
Of course. Yeah. Those leaning on Williamson, you might say.
Oh, right.
Still available on the website. And so and so then you've got, into this 90s, and that's partly what I remember, for Laphroaig at that stage in the 90s, and now I'm talking the second half of the 90s, where that had more of that love it or hate it presence, where people talked about the iodine, people talked about the Band-Aids. And I've always said that as we've kind of worked our way through, gosh, can't believe I'm about to say this sentence, as we've worked our way through the first quarter of the 21st century. And I still meet people who say, oh, no, I don't like Laphroaig, or I don't like Islay whiskies because they're the Band-Aid whiskies, and they're too medicinal. And I always say, gosh, I wish you could go back to the 80s and 90s versions. Like, those were so iodine-y, so medicinal. and I really miss that. And one of the things that we talked about in the selection of this cask was, I remember being at Whiskey Fest, probably around 2012 actually, and talking to John Campbell and asking John Campbell about this kind of evolution of Laphroaig. Yeah. And I was starting to find it much more minerally, much more like pebbles, or even seashore pebbles kind of thing going on there.
Yeah.
And I talked to him about, were there wholesale changes? Were there recipe changes? Was there another evolution with yeast? And really all that John had alluded to there was just how busy they were, how busy the still room was. And the idea being, when stills don't cool down between runs, when they're running in multiple shifts, then you're getting a more minerally spirit from the run.
Checks out.
And again, if you think about, by 2012, you're looking at that 2002, 2004, 2006, that window that we keep talking about, when everybody was turning on their taps full bore. And I think that's what we see with Laphroaig. And so in our selection of this cask, we talk about this whiskey from 99 kind of flavor-wise, and from our experience side of things, it feels to us like a midpoint between what we learned from Dennis and what we learned from John, and where this distillery, where it was and where it ended up going. Do you want to say more about that from your experience, Josh?
Well, I do, because I think there are the two different kinds of Laphroaig. You know, if you think about I always found the 10-year-old to have that minerality to it. But if you think back to the older 15-year-old that I think ended up going away around 2012-ish or so, 2013 or so, that was always on the fruitier side, right? So if you reverse the math, we're looking at 1998 distillate, right? And so here we are looking at that fruitier style. So it makes me think, were they selecting some of those casks to feed into that different style specifically for the 15-year-old? Were they playing around to show different sides of Laphroaig to show consumers, we're not just a one-trick pony. It's not just all Band-Aids. There is fruit. There is lovely character here.
Well, and I think to that extended age as well, one of the things we've talked about the entire time we've been running Single Cask Nation. I like Islas to be younger, heftier, a bit more forceful across the palate. And so I've always liked my Islas to be more like 8, going off to Ardbeg and the Wee Beastie 5, right? Or coming into the Laphroaig 10 cask strength. The 15 has always been softer for me. The 18-year-old is softer than that. And so with this 25-year-old, you are going to see some of that softness coming out from the distillery. You are going to see some of that fruit appear. The thing that I'm excited to revisit in today's tasting is the peat levels of this. We know as Islay whiskey matures, the ppm, the phenolic parts per million, diminish. They soften. They quieten. And so looking at this thank you. So looking at this 25-year-old, is to place the smoke in there. Oh my gosh. First things first, it takes me into ramen that I've been eating over the last couple of weeks. Okay. It absolutely drops me at a soy sauce buckwheat noodle kind of place here.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that was not expected in returning to it. Gosh.
Yeah, it's funny. I definitely get the umami, but there's a brightness to it that draws me in. It's this sort of, lovely citrusy, bright citrus quality to it, which I quite like. Salted limes comes to mind.
Did you mention that one when we were in cask selection?
I think I did. Yeah. I think I must have. Salted limes is something that I usually attribute to Ardbeg, but I surprisingly got in this one. And it's something that I used to get in the old Laphroaig 18-year-old, which was always a favorite of mine. I used to love that Laphroaig 18-year-old. Always had a bottle on the shelf.
I'm just thinking in returning here.
Yes.
We talk about that evolution of the Islay spirit, and we talk about the softening of the peat. But I've got soft coastal smoke, I've got gentle coal dust, and I've got oat cakes happening right here.
Yeah, right.
That I'm absolutely dropping in on. That malt is so beautifully present in there. And again, I'm just back from 2 weeks in Southern California and doing night after night after night, tasting after tasting after tasting. Tough job. Somebody has to do it. I'm honored. I'm honored to be out there representing Single Cask Nation. But one of the things I say early and often in our cask selections, we're looking for balance between spirit and wood. And what I also get to run into in Southern California is a group of nation folk who are so into refill bourbon maturation.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really drew us to this cask was 25 years undisturbed in refill bourbon.
Yeah.
This is spirit driven with, after 25 years, decent framing from the oak, but it is so spirit driven. And to have that malt be so present, that's what I'm digging. That's absolutely what I'm digging. A little bit of cinnamon coming in around the edges here.
Oh, without a doubt. And I love what you said about the refill bourbon here. 25 years in refill bourbon allows the spirit to slowly tease out that oak.
Yeah.
Right? The oak just doesn't smash the spirit, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I poured a little bit more than you. I got a proper hat and pour going on there. But it allows, the 25 years allows that spirit to slowly tease out the oak. I think the cinnamon is a bit of that component. I got a little bit of vanilla coming through. I got some charred coconut. I don't know if you've ever, do you shave coconut and then you toast it, but maybe you toast it a bit too much? I got that coming through,
that
just
makes sense.
right around the edges. And that to me is all oak driven, but the cereal, the malt cannot be ignored. I think you're spot on with that. It's the toasted sort of maltiness and the oat cakes and the peat is just so gentle.
I tell you what the malt is doing for me, and it's one of the aspects that I love about whiskey. Anybody listening to me over the years on the podcast, I talk about the people historically who have made the whiskey, and then I talk about the transformative power of being moved from where you're sitting to the distillery. And in just sitting here nosing, still have not tasted yet, just repeated nosing, this takes me to the malt floor, the malting floor at Laphroaig. Right? I, in my mind's eye, I can see myself crouching by the most recent batch of wet barley, and I'm picking it up and smelling it with the windows open and the coast right beside and the kiln right behind. I can absolutely see myself at the distillery just from nosing this.
And that's another thing that we don't know, right? And we're just going by experience here, is we don't know if this is malt that they brought in, peated malt that they brought in, or malt that they peated on site. And one of the things that we found is that whiskey produced from malt that they've peated on site tends to be fruitier. And it makes me wonder if this is from that, because I do find this to be a bit more on the fruity side. Is it fruitier because it's 25 years old and the peat is tamped down? Is it fruitier because of the time frame? Is it fruitier because of the floor maltings? Like, we don't know, and that's sort of the fun bit of it.
Right.
You know, I like guessing.
You're speaking to what it means to be a whiskey geek, right?
Yeah.
Is to piece together experience, lectures, tastings, just gleaning every bit of information you've gathered over your time and just asking those questions about this particular dram. The oils are present on the palate. It is not dry and dusty. We wouldn't have selected if it was dry and dusty. I mean, we knew that this one was going to lead with mouth texture given that we selected it.
Oh, there's almost like a yellow rhubarb tartness to it.
It's funny, right? This is why we taste together and select together, and you know, when we can include Jess in a selection, we do. But you know, your focus has been drawn by this fruit, and that's the thread you're following. My focus has been drawn by the malt, and that's the thread I'm following. Like, for me, I'm still exploring the peated barley as it's hitting my palate. I'm exploring the ground pepper in here, right? I'm following the charred wood across the palate.
Yeah, it's right, and I think that's one of the
saltiness.
beautiful things about this whiskey. There's so many layers. I remember that experience when we selected it. It was like, there's the fruit, and you're like, no, Joshua, pay attention to that soot. I'm like, oh shit, there it is. Oh my
Right.
gosh, right? And it's just doing this and that and this and that, and it's
Yeah, the sootiness of this really continues to tell a story and really runs as a through note here. The one thing I'll say is, given what we're saying in the intro about 96 and being there with some of the iodine, the medicinal, right? For me, this is more of the coastal. This is the salt.
okay.
It's the malt. But there's still, even for me, the sweetness, vanilla frosting, right, on a white cake kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then there's something you and I discussed, which fits with the heavy, and it really is a nod to our own history here, as we're preparing for an anniversary year. But this, for me, across the palate, has an element of tasting the air when you've just shot a shotgun. And that sense of spent shotgun shells.
Yeah.
And how that passes across the palate. And again, it takes me back to the 80s as opposed to the 90s. But, I'm sure I've said all the things on the podcast at some point, but being a 14-year-old growing up in an agricultural community, all my friends lived on farms. All my friends had shotguns. We would go out and fire shotguns. And when that wind, that breeze just brings it back across your face, you get a little across the palate. That is such a grounding element. I think speaks to some of that sootiness that we were discussing when we selected this cask.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It takes me back to our Kilhoman 4-year-old, right? Spent shotgun shells. And it takes me back to going, clay pigeon shooting with my dad at the range with 12 gauge and 20 gauge shotguns. Like that was some bonding time with my dad. I loved shooting.
And just as you mentioned the Kilhoman, then people looking at the label while holding a little pour and being like, oh yeah, I see what you guys did for the American market, spent shotgun shells, and then oh shit, that is spent shotgun shells. It's like, that's why we wrote it. We weren't pandering. We really got spent shotgun shells for that Kilhoman back in the day. So, and again, I don't think we've written spent shotgun shells in the years, the intervening years, and yet it absolutely comes to mind on this Laphroaig. And again, right, everyone's mileage may vary. And so the experiences I had at 14, the experiences you had with your dad may be different from someone else's experiences. Maybe that will manifest in a different way for you. But I think you will find the wood is present, the char is present, the soot is present, the grain is present. You're going to find all those things. They're just going to connect to different memories for you.
This is really special. Like, speaking about connecting to different memories, my first whiskey, I've told this story a billion fucking times, but my first whiskey is that drew me into whiskey was the Lagavulin 16, and it brought me back to camping with my dad because it was all the scents. It was autumn in the woods, Bear Mountain, and camping with him, all the scents. And this is taking me back to similar times growing up with my dad, doing those things, bonding over those things. And you don't always get those moments, where you're brought back in time. This is incredibly, incredibly special.
And it's another one of those ones that evolves over the tasting. It evolves over the sharing, Like continuing to layer this, one of the things for me is that lemony quality to it. And while we're talking limes and we're talking lemons, and we are talking about a citrusy brightness. And I love the fact that this remains bright 25 years in, but still with the smoke, and still with a fragrant smoke.
Yeah, and there's a liveliness to it, while also having an elegant quality to it. You know, you can tell it's got age to it, but it's not necessarily tamed, right?
And that's what drew us to this cask in the selection, was that it wasn't stumbling over the finish line. It wasn't ready to be pulled from the cask at its last gasp. It was bright. It was lively. It was expressive. It's exuberant, right? I think it's doing a lot of things that you might not expect a 25-year-old Islay whiskey to do. And the fact that it can fit within this beautiful historic period, this can cover the first quarter of this century. Like it's wild to me. Honestly, I know I said it earlier in today's episode, but it's wild to me that we're sitting here discussing the first quarter of this century. Absolutely wild.
Oh my gosh.
And I can still remember, sitting in my chair in 1996 next to Petty, tasting Laphroaig 10, and that does not feel like 29 years ago. Like that's
wow. Jason, I was married to a different woman in 1999.
There you go.
There you go.
If only she knew.
Different. If only she knew. Oh gosh.
All right, give us a banner.
Yeah.
We've reached the banner portion.
Before I do that, let me point this out too. We've been releasing Williamson after Williamson after Williamson. It's been a while since we've released a Laphroaig.
Yeah, it's lovely, lovely, lovely to see that name back on the label. That's
right.
Really important. And I know there's a wink and a nudge, and folk know what Williamson is, and people thought they knew what Laughing Frog was. They were right. But to be able to put Laphroaig front and centre, it means a lot. It really means a lot. They were my first head over heels in love affair at the University of Aberdeen. Right? They meant so much to me. And so to get that name back on the label, and at 25 years old on the back of a 1999, huge, really, really huge. I absolutely celebrate that fact. And in the new livery. Love that new livery. Love the nation on that label.
There you go. 25 years old. 171 bottles. Not a lot.
Ooh, okay.
Here's what I love about this. You've got... Oh, where'd my banner go? It went away.
Said that was going to happen.
Oh, boy. Oh, it goes away after 10 seconds. Oh, quick. Everybody who's watching YouTube, look, before it goes away.
Is that 10 seconds? That feels a lot shorter than 10 seconds.
There have been so many wonderful distillery-owned Laphroaig single casks, 9, 10 years old, and you and I have gotten a few of them. The PX I Love You from Julio's comes to mind.
Yep.
Warehouse Liquors released a 9-year-old, I think, from a refill French oak cask.
Yep. As did the one that we really enjoyed from Jack Rose, Smoking Mirrors.
The Jack Rose one, right?
It was really good as well. However,
yeah.
What did they all have in common?
What they all have in common was about a $300-ish price tag. And I would argue they all drank like $300 whiskey. I think that they were
fantastic.
Fantastic. They were well worth the price. Our bottle at 25 years of age, which goes on sale Tuesday, December 9 at 12 noon on our website, is $600.
Yeah, good price. Really happy with it.
Right?
Yep.
And
I think we've gone to bat again for the nation.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And, at every turn, we want to do $10 per year. And I think What have we done? We've bottled 87 casks or 88 casks this year. Do I have that number right? Sure, somewhere around that. And at every turn, I think we've done $10 per year, with the exception, and in some cases, a little less, with the exception of 2 casks. Our Bowmore 21-year-old at $250, right? It's kind of difficult.
A few remain available at that kick-ass price.
And then this Laphroaig. There are simply times when you have prestige casks that are as rare as hen's teeth, where you simply can't touch it.
No.
But
if we did a 25-year-old Springbank, it likely would not be $600.
It'd likely be $3,000, right? So here we are. We definitely still are going to bat and then some at this price tag, and we are incredibly proud of it.
Yeah, love it. Love the liquid is exceptional. It's an older cask, not a place we tend to dip our toes. We tasted this as part of a larger batch of samples, and we said that has to be a special end of year festive release. That's exactly what we leaned into. That's exactly what we did with it. I think this will bring great cheer to any gathering where this is shared. I think this is really a really special bottling, and the nation supports us. The nation knows what we're here to achieve, and I know Laphroaig is near and dear to a lot of hearts out there. So dip into 99, dip into 20th century Laphroaig. It's your last chance.
I would argue if you've purchased the woodcut series, this falls right into line with that woodcut series.
Absolutely.
Fit it in.
Yep.
Then open it up and share it. The holidays are a-coming, right?
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited to open my bottle. I'm excited to share that around.
You know what I'm going to do, Jason? Tell you what, December 6th, that's this coming Saturday, by the way. It's a very important day.
Just when I was getting ready to accept your apology. No more. It's off the table. It's back off the table.
It is Christopher Swede-Scott Hallstrom's birthday, Jason.
Incorrigible. Incorrigible.
It is also Raj Sabarwal's birthday.
Incorrigible.
Your face is getting redder and redder.
That's because I've been drinking.
But it is also my birthday.
Incorrigible. Apology not accepted. Apology not accepted.
But look at this. I'm turning 52, and so I've decided I'm only going to be drinking 25-year-old whiskeys. I'm just going to reverse them. That's my plan. I'm going to be drinking 25-year-old whiskeys on my 52nd birthday.
There you go. That's like my mother-in-law who decided she was turning 83. Who decided she was turning 38 by turning her 83 back to front. So
this
there
is
you
how
go.
we do it.
Well, happy birthday to you when it arrives, Raj, Christopher, of course. Special wishes to you all and to anybody having a birthday. Before we get out of here, Joshua, throw up the banner about subscribing. We love it when you listen. We love it when you subscribe to the audio version of the podcast. But please come on over to YouTube. Please take a look at us. Some people have said they enjoy the banter. They love watching our facial expressions when the banter flies back and forth. You can literally watch me not accept Joshua's apology today. What a thrill that will be for all of you. But click the bell. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel below, not before. Before we get out of here, Joshua, it is all in good jest. I accept your apology, your poor hearing, your poor memory, your incomplete lists, and I do sincerely wish you a happy birthday for this Saturday.
Thank you.
Or for this December 6th. Depending on when you're listening, listener, it may not be this Saturday.
That's
Please
a very good point.
purchase Laphroaig 25 from us. Throw in other bottles. As I say, the Bowmer 21 remains, the Williamson 9 remains. $300 gets you free shipping, so every single bottle of Laphroaig ships freely. Throw in some bottles, take advantage of it. Always lovely to have you. And until next time, Joshua Hatton.
Cheers.
Cheers and happy birthday. Bye-bye.